What if you could have the right relationship with the right person no matter what your age is? This is Robert Manni, host of Guys TV. This week, my special guest is Silke Schwarzkopf, host of Second Act TV. It all starts right here, right now on Guys TV. You can also catch me on KCAA Radio here in Southern California, Guys Radio, my worldwide podcast, and we're on UK Health Radio all weekend long. Guys TV, Guys Radio. Thanks for your support. Okay, Guys Radio, it's the interview portion of our show, and today we're going to talk about how to find the relationship that really feels like a good connection for you at any age, under any circumstances, because so many times we kind of set our own self-imposed limits, we sabotage ourselves, we get in our own way. So I want to bring in one of our experts on this topic, Silke Schwarzkopf, host of Second Act TV, my buddy. I've been on Silke's show many times on YouTube. It's one of the hottest shows on the channel, if you will. And there's just so much knowledge that Silke has from interviewing so many experts in the field of relationships and how to really succeed after the age of 50. So it's my pleasure to welcome back my buddy, my pal, and my friend Silke Schwarzkopf, host and producer of Second Act TV. Welcome back to Guys Radio.
Thank you, Robert. What a great introduction. I'll take that. Thank you.
So, you know, we do so many segments on your show, and we usually hit some individual, like we'll talk about an article and quick hitters, if you will. And my show, because it's on terrestrial radio as well as the podcast and YouTube, it's longer in form. So we're going to talk about a big topic today, and then we'll get into the details. We'll do some deep dives as we go along. And I really want to talk about how people at any age can get out of their own way and find the path to finding that connection, to make a relationship, no matter what age you are, what your circumstances are. We're going to help you kind of clear the table so you can get right out there. And it's a perfect time of the year to do that because we're getting into something new. And I just really, as you do, Silke, we want to help people find love. So here we go.
Yes. What he said.
What he said. So let's start with a kind of a big one. Like, and this is a general question, how do you learn from your past, but not get hung up from it so it gets in the way for your future possibilities of dating? For instance, you're a woman, you went out with a guy and he had this habit that really bugged you. And so you eliminate that, or and you're like, I can't go out with any guy who maybe he doesn't have enough money, or his health was no good, or I didn't like his kids, or whatever it is. How do you make sure, and we'll get into all of those, but how do you make sure that you're not bringing the learning you've gleaned from the past, which is good. It's good to learn, but you don't want it to get in the way where it puts a cap on your opportunities to meet somebody new in the future.
Well, I think, yeah, that's a big question. Like you said, the general, what comes down, right away when I heard you say that is obviously self-esteem. You need to make sure that you have the self-esteem necessary to get out there and, deal in this world. And also, have you taken responsibility for the past? Because I think a lot of people get in their way, with bringing baggage, if you will, to the table, your past, by not taking responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault. Right. So if you keep blaming others, then you're never going to learn from anything you've done. I think it's the short answer to that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into some specifics then. So people of a certain age sometimes will make age as a factor that's limiting for them. Excuse me. So people say, I'm too old. I can't find somebody new. Nobody's going to want me. My perspective is that it doesn't matter. Age is a choice. Age is a number, and it can get in the way in a lot of things, including online dating, and we'll get into that. But how does somebody properly access and face up to their age and embrace it instead of making it a block, if you will, for finding somebody new?
Yeah, that's actually a really hard question. And the first thing I want to do is acknowledge that it is difficult. Especially the older you get, it's going to affect you. You're going to think about it. You're going to go, oh my God, I mean, I said just the other day, I'm turning 65 next month.
Yikes, you
It's
look
like,
like,
whoa, yay,
I was gonna
yay,
say,
Medicare.
38.
Oh, Robert,
Seriously,
that's
seriously.
why you're on my show all the time. So age is it just a number? It is a number, absolutely, and it's the number that you make it. And health has so much to do with it. I mean, if you're, and that's a whole other topic, perhaps if you're not healthy, if you're sick, if you're not feeling well, if you have some sort of affliction that does come, with age, sometimes more often than not, it does make it more difficult. You can feel old, and I think that's what I'm getting to, is how do you make yourself feel young or not feel old? And that's, I think, where what you mean by or a lot of people mean by age is just a number. It's a feeling.
Mhm.
You're as old as you feel, and how you approach that is, up to you.
I think you just nailed it, because age is the easy one that anybody over 50 can use as an excuse for anything. We're
Mm-hmm.
too old to do this. I can't do that. I mean, our culture, the collective agreement, if you will, and messaging that goes out there to all of us is that you're old, you're kind of in the way, and you need to be replaced by some Gen Z or whatever's after Gen Z. It just keeps getting younger and younger, and that's the culture we live in.
Mm-hmm.
However, the pig and the python population wise is the boomers, and the
Mm-hmm.
boomers are, a lot of them are active. You have the golden bachelor, and you have, I just sent you that article in the Wall Street Journal about people rampantly dating in their 70s and having a
Yeah.
blast. And there's all types of senior homes, STDs and stuff like that, because everybody's happily hunting and gathering out there. And so age can become what you make of it,
Mm-hmm.
and the number is the number. Now, let's get
Yes.
into a specific where age can kind of get in the way. And that is a big topic. And it's a topic that a lot of people, they get turned off by, but it's a reality. And I urge people who are particularly over 50 to embrace it. And it's online dating, because it can be such a two-edged sword for people,
Mm-hmm.
because, here's a way where you can tap into the biggest population pool of prospective candidates for a connection and a partnership than you'd ever meet in your entire life,
Mm-hmm.
way more. However, it can also be the most disappointing platform, because there's so much dishonesty on it, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
big turnoff for certain people. So what do you tell people, and what do you hear from your experts about, online dating? Is it a gift, or is it a curse? And how can we make it into a gift for those who
Yeah.
think it's a curse? Because I think it's a gift.
Yeah, I think that online dating is the best thing that ever happened to dating. And as my buddy Treva will say, she's another regular on the show, it's
Mhm.
the worst thing that ever happened to dating. Because it does get you out there, to, as you said, it literally opens the world up for you, especially with the technology we now have. You can start relationships in Europe if you
Mhm.
want to. And then it opens up to the scammers, to to behaviors that make you feel horrible. And that's just the fact. It's just the fact. And everybody encounters that online, no matter how old you are. And so it's the mindset really that you bring to the table. It's relatively easy to go through, filter through the scammers, the things that aren't going to work for you. You just have to be able to recognize it. And then, and then you can, I mean, there's good people out there. The stats are there. I think it's 30% or even more of relationships now start online. Mine did. I'm in a 12-year relationship. Paul and I, we met on Match. You met your wife on Match.
Exactly.
It's just, that's, to a large extent, it's how people meet now. And from that perspective, I would embrace it. Also, as you get older and your social circles shrink, there's nothing wrong with maybe starting a long distance relationship. We covered that on the show, how to do it,
Mhm.
what not to do, how to make that work, because we have that option now. And as we get older, if we're not tied to a particular place, hey, You know, if you meet somebody you like, why not move? I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities in that sense that we can embrace. Now, what I have seen, interestingly enough, and just personally dealt with, is a friend of mine, and she's 70. Yeah, she just turned 70. She's just a great woman, fun, I mean, she's full of life. I just love her to death. And she's like so done with online dating. She's so disappointed by online dating because she has run into a lot of people that she felt like are just trying to use her, and because she's a widow and she feels targeted. So once you kind of go down that path, then you start believing that, like, everybody's maybe that. I mean, it's very easy, what I'm trying to say, that you can get tainted online, and that's why you have to remain just positive and aware of what's going on. It's almost like every day is a new beginning, and that's it's a lot harder done, or easy. It's not as easy done as said. Is what I'm trying to say, and I just want to acknowledge that.
No, I think those are all very legitimate points. And as we're both kind of pro online dating, let's
Right.
factor in a couple of things, some realities. It's the world on steroids in terms of you're going to meet more people than you could ever. You have the opportunity to meet more people that you could ever have time to meet. That's a
Right.
good thing. Now, if it's a microcosm of the world, the dating world, you're going to get people who are dishonest,
Mhm.
right? Even if you meet them offline, they could be
Mhm.
dishonest. You're going to get scammers offline. Let's factor in a couple of things. As you get older, I experienced this. All my friends were married. I was in my early 50s when I got married.
Mhm.
Saturday night, what are you going to do? Your friends are married, they have kids. You want to go to a bar on Saturday night by yourself when you're 50 in New York City? Yeah, there's places you
Mhm.
can go and hang out. It's not bad, but you don't want that to become the routine. So that kind of
Right.
stinks. At least with online dating, you can set up a coffee date for during the week, and or three. You
Mhm.
can meet a lot of people and have some good conversations.
Right.
Secondly, the age thing, and where we started is you're going to get the age factor that gets in the way for a lot of people. And we've discussed this before, but I think it's really important. That is, you could be a great looking 52-year-old.
Mhm.
And for the online dating, you want to be honest. But if you
Mhm.
say you're 50 to 60 or whatever, then you're going to be considered a lot older than if you're in the 40 age pod, if you will. And
Yeah.
to me, the reality is, you go to your high school reunion and everybody's kind of the same age, yet you could separate, like, this one looks 20 years younger than that one,
Yeah.
because people age differently, whether it's genetics or lifestyle or health or stress or whatever it is. Not the age is an indicator, but it gets in the way of online dating because you get put into these groups. So
Mhm.
you have to make a determination. Is like, I'm 52, yet I look 42. Where do I want to put myself? Now, eventually,
Mhm.
you have to be truthful. It's going to come out. But that's a decision you have to make on your own, because you can't, and the truth always comes out. So if you get in a
Yeah.
relationship and somebody sees your driver's license or whatever, they're going to realize, hey, I didn't realize you're 3 years older than you said you were. Now, if you're really
Yeah.
connecting at that point, does it matter? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not I'm not advocating not being honest, but I am stating that the truth of the matter, the fact of the matter, that the statistics can be limiting when you're dealing with online dating. So you have to
Mhm.
factor that in. So
Yeah.
that leads to what I call the 85% rule, which we've also touched on, but I think it's important because there's the dishonesty factor also. My thinking, having done the online dating for years and having a great time before I met my wife, is that I would say, okay, I'm going to get, if this person lives up to 85% of their profile across the board, looks, um, their age,
Mhm.
etc. That's real. That's real. I'll take it from there. Now, of course, a couple of times I was pleasantly surprised that the person was 110%, including my wife, of what I would consider the beat
Mhm.
the 85%. So the fact is, the takeaway is you're going to have to make it like a game. Dating should be a fun sport. And I know for some people it's not fun because they've gotten burned, but you have to keep that positive attitude. You have to make it fun, and you have to realize I'm going to meet some new people, and I hopefully will meet the one who could be the right connection for me, the right partnership for me, whatever form that takes when I'm in my 50s plus. What do you think of that, Silke?
I think I just lost one of my earbuds, but it's okay. I can hear you there. I absolutely, yes, of course I agree with that. It's, the whole age thing that Robert was talking about is you have to, somehow you have to register, and then you're thrown to a pod and people search for, I want somebody, well, at least on matches like that, I want somebody between 50 and no older than 60 or whatever that is. And then, people search for that. I have two different thoughts on that. One is, yes, especially as we get higher up there, is okay, if we think that we look great and we want to meet somebody maybe even younger, okay, put yourself in a little, lie, not lie, but put yourself in the categories that you want to be searched in, but then immediately, if not, in your profile, just go, hey, I put, I'm 55, but I'm really this. I just want you to know that for search. And then people can handle it any way they want, because
great
people
idea.
will get very, very upset if you show up on a date and especially if you don't, if you do look older.
Right.
That's one of the number one complaints in online dating for people who met on a first date, is that the pictures weren't the same and that they lied about their age. And that's the number one reason you don't get a second date. So, keep that in mind. The other thought I have on that, and I keep going back and forth, I'm not on there right now. It's like, what would I do? If somebody is not, really doesn't want somebody my age, then why would I want them? I think that's a more high value question than, why would they not want me? And I remember when I was online dating, and if somebody, contacted me, then, and when I, like, if I was interested, or he was kind of cute, or his profile reads well, and then in his search it says looking for a woman, 35 to 45, which at that time would have made me 10 years older. I wouldn't, it's like, you want a woman, you put it out there, you want somebody younger. Well, that's not me. A couple of times I did get back with them and say, you know what, sorry, don't fit your criteria. To me personally, that was, I don't know, it's a little insulting. At least, even if you want somebody younger, include your age up there. Maybe you don't have to put older, but put, up to your age, because otherwise you just look like, I think you just look, a man, looks like a dick. I took that, to be offensive. So, and women as well. It's a touchy subject as we get older. And what are the answers? I think, to your point originally, honesty is more than likely the best policy. You might get passed up, but you know what? Maybe you didn't. Maybe those people aren't right for you anyway.
No, I think that's a perfect response, and just put the caveat into the profile, and let the person determine that for themselves. So, right. All it takes, the bottom line to me for online dating, and then we can move on. And my special guest, by the way, once again, is Silke Schwarzkopf, the wonderful host of the hot show Second Act TV on YouTube. It's like a rocket ship taking off, and I've been on it many times, and it's a great show. I strongly urge everybody to check it out. But back to online dating, all it takes is one. It's like that in offline dating also. All it takes is one, but you got to get it. You got to be in it to win it. And you're going to get some disappointments, and you're going to get some dishonest people, and you're going to get people it just doesn't work. But at least you can do some qualification before you even meet the person. And if you meet the person for coffee or whatever, or one drink or whatever, that's not the end of that's not taking up too much time. So here's another one of those self-imposed excuses that people can make when they want to meet a partner, but they say, I don't have time. I'm too busy. Whether it's like I have kids, or my job is stressful and I'm always on the go and I travel all the time, and they have all these types of excuses about I don't have enough time. It's like working out. I don't have enough
Yeah.
time. I can't meditate. I don't have enough time. But you know what? You do have enough time to do the
Well, you
things you
have,
want to do.
yeah, you have to decide. There you go. That's what I was just going to say. You have to decide what you want, because maybe you are too busy and maybe you enjoy all the busyness that you have. Maybe you really don't want a relationship. Not everybody wants a relationship, and that's perfectly okay. We're really talking to people who want a relationship and who are having some issues finding it, who need to, especially when you're starting over again after 25 years, like I did, 25 years marriage, and all of a sudden, boom, the whole world has changed, and you're still dealing in that mentality of when you were younger. So that's who we're talking to. Otherwise, if you are looking for a relationship and you do bring those quote unquote excuses to the table, I see that as more of a defense mechanism. It's almost like, no, I'm not going there. I have too many reasons why it can't happen, and that's why I'm not even going to go there. So, and that's kind of sad, and it's something that you have to realize about yourself. What do I want? What do I really want? And
That's
a lot of
it.
people don't ask themselves that.
Or don't know.
Or don't. Yeah, it takes a
Uh,
little thought to actually figure that out.
Right. And sometimes in our fast-paced world, we're busy, gotta, or we're busy reacting than
Hmm.
being circumspect, taking that half a step back to say, hang on. And I would strongly urge people who are going to go back into the dating pool. And this is
Hmm.
my next topic is you mentioned divorce. How do you get back into dating after a divorce? Because that's a tough
Hmm.
one for a lot of people. And if you can't get over that hump, then you're not
Hmm.
going to get anywhere. And so many people, they don't get over that hump. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about divorce. You've been out of the dating pool for a number of years, in your case, like 20 years or something. What did you do? And what do you hear from the other experts to tell folks to do who I've been, it could be a man, it could be a woman. They've been married a
Hmm.
long time. The world's changed. The dating world has changed.
Hmm.
What do you do when, you have to lick your wounds and get over the fact that your marriage is over? How do you kind of pick yourself up by the bootstraps and say, okay, I've got the rest of my life in front of me. I would like to have a relationship. I've taken the time to ask myself, what do I want? What maybe did I learn? And how do I get back out
Hmm.
there? So what was
Well,
your
you have to
process?
you have to decide if you're ready to go out there. Are you really ready to start dating again? And a big factor in that is, were you the one that was left, or did you leave the marriage? Because if you left, then you probably are going to be more ready than the person who was left. How much healing do you have to do? Because if you bring the pain of a divorce into a new relationship, it's never going to work. There's all kinds of red flags that we talk about on Second Act. I think we've talked about it with you. You and I just recently did, the red flags or something like that of dating a divorced man. We always get the men's, male perspective from you. And because there are red flags. And the biggest one is how much do they talk about their ex? If that is in constant conversation, and especially on a first date, if it's very negative, if it's, oh yeah, she was such a bitch, oh my god, so just walk away. I mean, they don't leave the date,
Mhm.
but that is a huge red flag that somebody is not over their divorce, over their pain, and certainly not ready to start dating again. I was more than ready, so I mean, I left. I went from my separation to dating almost immediately, which I was fine, but I've learned a lot. You're talking about what you learned. One of the categories on Match, well, you list yourself either single, divorced, widowed, or separated. So separated is actually a category. And I was honest. Yeah, my age, and I'm separated. And I did get, response, and then got other, like if I reached out to somebody, goes, your profile is great, but you know what, until you're divorced, I just don't want to try that. And you know what, they were right. In my case, maybe not, because I really was, and my separation was longer for other reasons than wanting to go back to my marriage. But as a rule, as a rule of thumb, that's a really, really important thing to look at. What is the status, and how much drama may be coming your way if you get involved with this person, be it kids, be it an angry ex-wife, or whatever that is. Divorce brings a lot of issues that we otherwise wouldn't encounter. Financial, what does he, is he still paying alimony, or if, oh well, or in my girlfriend's case, is she still paying alimony?
Wow.
So all those kind of considerations are needed, for dating after divorce. And while I'm making that sound negative, it really isn't. It's just a fact. And if you're aware of it, then you can filter through that too, and don't go down a road that is eventually not going to be right for you.
So you need to, it sounds like, Silke, if you're in that situation, you need to, when you're qualifying somebody who's separated or divorced or whatever, to make sure that they're over it, that they're ready
Yes.
to start fresh. And
Yeah.
so it's really listening closely to what their attitude, if there's some triggers that they have about starting to trash their
Yeah.
ex or whatever.
And I'm not saying that you should, you just have to be completely healed, and because that also is that's too far. But I'm saying that you have to, you're over. You've acknowledged maybe what you've done wrong, even if you were left. What did you
What was
contribute
your
to
role?
this?
Exactly.
What
Right.
was your role in this? And there's always going to be some pain that you carry on, something, and then you just have to be aware of what that is, so it doesn't affect your relationship. I.e., that you don't blame, the sins of your ex on your new partner, which
Mhm.
does happens a lot with cheating.
Right.
And in my case, that's, my husband cheated on me for years. That was one of the things that I still carry forward and had to really work on, that having that trust in somebody else, that not all men are cheaters, or the situation that maybe I'm seeing, or something he said, that doesn't, he's not the same. The past is not equal to the present. That's another huge issue, to make sure that you are ready to move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Silke Schwarzkopf, my special guest, Guys Radio, a return guest, because she's a guy's guy also, because she's my pal and we talk about relationships, and I'm a frequent guest on
Mhm.
Second Act TV, Silke Show, which she hosts and produces. It's amazing. It's on YouTube. Check it out. So you mentioned the whole thing with divorce. One aspect of it we didn't touch on is kids, and kids
Mhm.
can kind of get in the way, because they're either gonna, if
Mhm.
you're a new partner, they'll like you or they're not going to like you. It depends.
Right.
And I think some of that comes from the parent,
Yes.
as to like what the
Mhm.
attitude is about
Yep.
how they felt about the father or the mother who's not there. And then
Right.
they carry some baggage as to what the parent who's there with feels about things, or maybe the one who's not there feels about things.
Mhm.
So what's a
Right.
good way for somebody? I've been in a situation where the kids didn't, one kid liked me and the other kid didn't like me, or the family didn't like me, or family did like me. And it's like, it's a
Mhm.
factor. So what
It
have you
absolutely is.
heard about how to manage that situation where you're dealing with a new cast of characters? It's not just, when you're over 50, it's not just your prospective partner. Sometimes it's the people around them who are coming along for the ride that you have to
Yeah.
be aware of, and they're going to play a role at some point.
Well, whatever, whoever is in your new potential partner's life, they're going to be in your life. That's the bottom line. And kids, unless they're estranged, and then that's a whole other thing. Why are you estranged? They're going to be in your life, and you need to decide how much, what, if you're okay with that, or how much you will deal with, how much drama, if there's drama there, are you willing to put up with? In my case, like, I just feel so blessed, because Paul's kids, he has 3 kids, we get along great. I mean, I think they love me.
Mhm.
We do. I mean, it's just that was so great to have discovered that, because in my marriage, that wasn't the case. I mean, I almost swore I'm not going to date anybody that had any kids.
Mhm.
And yes, kids play a huge, huge part. I also want to say, in the kids' defense, that, and I interviewed a really interesting 2 psychotherapists who wrote the book. What was it? Home Will Never Be the Same Again. That we don't take into account what adult children go through with divorce. Just because they're adults doesn't mean they can all of a sudden handle what the parents have created or their separation, it can be devastating. So there's so many things, to consider. And again, awareness of that, will help you manage it better. But, but if I don't know, if one of the kids or the ex-wife are really working against you, which happens, kids,
Yeah.
they can absolutely ruin a relationship. Then you just need to decide, what is and isn't acceptable, such as, taking, you have a date and the kids call, well, Dad, I need this. It's okay, okay, honey, I'll be,
Mhm.
maybe once, maybe depending on what it is. But I know people, friends of mine, where this is a continual thing. It's like, why are you putting up with this?
Mhm.
You know.
Something just came up during our conversation here, and it's about, you mentioned the cheating, and then there's the honesty issue online, and that's really what cheating is part of a subset of dishonesty, and it seems
Hmm.
like a lot of women, and I'm making a generalization, but let me take the leap here. It's
Hmm.
my show, I can do it, and a lot of guys are perceived by women to be dishonest, and it could come across in their behavior as cheating or just lying about their age online or whatever. What does a woman who wants to get out there, who is like saying, I can't stand these guys, I'm not doing it, I'm not going to online date, I can't. How do you qualify a guy? For instance, you were in a situation where your husband cheated on you. How did you qualify your current partner?
Well, you do it through gentle conversation is what I would say. Is, you do want to know the reason that a marriage split up. That's an okay question to ask. We say don't talk about your ex on the first date, and I agree with that. Certainly not go down the rabbit hole of how horrible they
Right.
are, but a question of, well, how did your marriage end? How'd you feel about that? Or just something that doesn't necessarily invite a negative the response right away, or that you're willing to commiserate on some sort of a negative outcome. And then it I mean, I don't know if you qualify. There really isn't. It's a matter of trusting your gut. You listen to be aware of some red flags and behavior. For example, if you start dating someone who you only get together during the week, he does only calls you from his car. He doesn't introduce you to to friends or family, and this is going on into the dating process. Those are huge red flags that there's something else going on. So
Mhm.
a little bit is gut, a little ask some smart questions, some questions that are received in a positive way, and then just, yeah, if it's the red flags are right here, see them.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times, we meet somebody, we want this to work out, and we just refuse to see the red flags, and that's
Mhm.
that doesn't help us. It's because eventually it's going to break up again.
How about sometimes, and I take this from my own experience speaking to women who are single and being on panels and stuff like that, where they want to meet guys and they don't really get involved in guy type. They're not fishing where the fish are. They don't like
Hmm.
the online thing because of dishonesty. They have sometimes self-esteem about their age, their what they perceive their looks to be, their their hobbies or whatever are not in line with where a lot of guys are going to be. How do they make it happen? I mean, at a certain point, to me, you've got to, you have to be flexible and
You have
say,
to
well,
get
maybe
out there.
yeah, exactly. You have to, maybe I want to learn some new things. Why do guys like golf? Maybe I need to go out there and
Right.
watch golf on TV or go try to play golf. Maybe
Mhm.
not. Maybe it's fishing, whatever, but participate in something that you like that's not just for women, if you will.
Right. No, I agree. And I think one easy, not easy, but prevalent resource is the meetup groups. There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many different, I mean, there's everything. There's playing cards, there's singing, there's cooking. I mean, just depending on what it is that you like, join something. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are, as I understand it, are age specific as well. I joined running groups when I first, because I was a runner, and that
Mhm.
was terrific to meet people.
There you go.
And yeah, you just, like you said, you be where there are guys, but I don't do something that, if you hate golf, then don't
Exactly.
pretend like you do,
Right.
or if you hate football, Although
Mhm.
sports bars are a great place.
Yeah.
The guys will be there. They're, not everybody likes to go to a bar. You don't necessarily have to drink, but it's usually a fun atmosphere, or neighborhood bars that,
Mhm.
or restaurants. Maybe I shouldn't say bars all the time, but it does tend to come down sitting around a bar that caters to more of an older crowd. And I'm thinking of one that's like in my neighborhood. There's single people there all the time, and people meet it. And it's very, I mean, people want the socialization. You almost, I don't know. I sometimes I hear, oh, I can't meet anybody, or I can't do, or how do you meet people? Like, for example, we live right now in a senior community, 55 up community. Sounds like an old folks home. This is the most active community I've ever lived in.
Mhm.
We play pickleball every morning. Paul goes to play golf. We have, I mean, there's just so many active people here that it's almost impossible not to meet someone. And there's numerous couples that have met right there, and are now together. And so you meet people, and if you have the ability, or to actually move into an active 55 plus community, I I would do that. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm amazed with what I've learned, with this kind of lifestyle where everybody, around you is not in the same boat necessarily being single, but in the aging pool and wanting to be active. It's just terrific.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think you nailed it, where you gotta be aware and embrace really who you are. And the
Right.
meetup groups are great. My sister-in-law, I ran into her. I was out and she's sitting with this group of people, dudes with these long beards and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, hi. And it was a cryptocurrency meetup group. It's hilarious. I mean,
Uh-huh.
hilarious. But that's good. That's good. I mean, that's a
Hmm.
perfect, and she's single. That's a perfect example of getting involved in something that's not like a guy thing, or not like a considered a female thing. It's just a thing that people
Right.
can embrace and be interested in, and you get together and you can exchange
Mhm.
ideas, learn something, maybe make some money, or maybe lose some money. It depends, but at least it's something. It's getting out there,
Right.
and
Right.
it's you don't have to do anything to yourself. It's because it's not about how you look and all of that stuff. It's about just be you as a person. And I think those type of activities and those type of groups are really good, because so many times people over 50, they get, they're like, I haven't been out there. I've gained weight. I'm losing
Hmm.
my hair. Nobody's going to love me. My wife or my husband cheated. My wife left me. I don't know what to do. It's easy to
Yeah.
feel sorry for yourself, and a lot of times with good reason.
Good
But at a
reason.
certain,
Yeah.
but at a certain point, you got to say, okay, I'm good. You have to give yourself a hug. And
Well, you have to indulge in the pain as well. I mean, but not
mm,
stay there. That's the thing. Have your low, have your pity party, stay on the couch, eat the ice cream. Just do feel the pain if that's what you're going through, and then get out of it. Because if you're not going to meet anybody, not going out. I mean, that's just, you have to do something if you want a relationship. And if, as you alluded, if you don't feel good about yourself, be it you have gained weight, or whatever, well, then do something about it. That's a
there you
good way to meet people too. Go to the
exactly.
go to the gym. uh, but there's all, yeah, it's so important that you feel good about yourself. So whatever that means, feeling good about yourself, do that if you can.
Mhm.
And again, I say that in an empathetic way for people who maybe can't. If, like, again,
Right.
if you're ill, if there's other things going on that are out of your control. and
Mhm.
and I have run into that, and yeah, it's disheartening. I absolutely get it, but that's not the norm. The norm is that you can do something
Mhm.
about it,
Yeah.
but you just don't for some reason.
Yeah. So I think that's the inspiration, hopefully, we can put out there, is that, everybody is facing these same issues as we age. And it's all
Hmm.
depending on what choices you make. Every day you make a choice. Am I going to fast today? I'm not. Am I going to eat that donut or not? Am I going to have that? It's like all day long we make choices. And if you say, I want to get out there, I want to meet somebody, and I'm willing to do some of the
Hmm.
work it takes to be not somebody different, or not
Hmm.
somebody who's going to please somebody else, but the best version of
Best.
myself. If you
Hmm.
think of it that way, because
Mhm.
I don't believe anybody should change for anybody else unless there's something that, can be changed, it needs to be changed, that they want to change. But
Mhm.
you need to do things for yourself. And when you're
Right.
the best version of yourself, you're going to feel the best about yourself, and you're going to become just energetically the most attractive version of yourself that you
Mhm.
can be. And
Yeah.
you then put yourself in a position of allowing to receive all the good stuff
Yes.
that's out there. And a lot of times we wind down and keep digging this hole of I don't like myself, I can't get
Mhm.
started,
And
I
nobody
quit
wants to be
this.
around that.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to
right.
be around that. That you have again, I've said this on your show, on my show all the time. It's so much of it comes down to mindset. If you put negative energy out there, you're gonna get that back. And there's nothing worse than listening to somebody bitch all the time. I mean, yes, there's all kinds of stuff we want to talk about. We want to have somebody to commiserate with on certain things. But if you get stuck there, nobody wants to be your therapist. I mean, just whatever it is that you need to heal, work on that, and then bring something positive to the table, because otherwise it's just, you're going to keep attracting what you don't want.
I think that's the perfect way to summarize the learning and the takeaway for everybody out there. Love yourself, become the best version of yourself. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself, and you will attract what's right for you out there. You'll start to begin to attract things, and then you start to filter. This is good for
Mhm.
me. This is something I don't want. But put yourself in a position of um, knowing your self-worth and
Yeah.
knowing your personal power, using your personal power to love and respect yourself. When you start to do that, miracles can happen. And I
Mhm.
don't mean to be corny about it, but it all starts with ourselves. Every
Yeah,
day is a new opportunity to take that first step. And many times the first step is the toughest one. And then the second
absolutely.
and third step, they're tough too. This consistency, the consistency is difficult, but we can do it, and you can do it, and everybody out there can do it. So I hope people are inspired and motivated, not thinking that we're wagging our fingers saying, yeah, you're a loser or whatever. You're not. People out there need to know that they can make changes, and it's
You
never too
absolutely
late to
can.
make change. And if you don't love yourself, it's going to be hard to attract a partner. So get out there and do it, and start with yourself, love yourself, determine what you want, and then go after it. And it doesn't matter
Absolutely.
what age you are. Over 50, right? We're like, just make it happen. You
Yeah,
can do it.
it's
Do it.
50, 60, 70, 80. One of my favorite sexual health experts, Frank, was just on. He's 89. Yeah,
I love it.
it's life can be long if yes, there are some people are maybe more blessed than others,
Right.
but there's a lot you can do to make it just beautiful.
Awesome. So Silke Schwarzkopf, my special guest once again on Guys Radio. Tell everybody where they can find more about you and about the show.
Well, on YouTube, Second Act TV, it's the number 2 Second NB Act, ACT.TV. Or if you just Google dating over 50, finding love after 50, the videos, like likely with you, Robert, will pop up. Lots of our videos will pop up. It's actually pretty easy to find. So I'm proud of that.
And they're about 15-minute to 20-minute
Mhm.
segments, so they're very digestible, very straightforward, very authentic, and the experts on there are terrific. And Silke, you have a great rapport with everybody. You're really helping those over 50 find partners. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We'll see you again soon, and all the best.
Thank you, Robert.
If you enjoy the guests and content I bring you each and every week, the Guys TV and Guys Radio, please support us by subscribing to our channels and platforms. Thank you.